so you were doing what I've got written.
Oh, one down.
But if you could think of a cooler note to put there, because I'm doing like a break.
It would be a B if I were going to do it.
Okay, let's try it. 1, 2, 3. That's pretty cool. I like it.
Chinese maybe hiding submarines underwater.
Run! They might hide their armies in their sleeveys. What do you want to warm up with?
Wasn't this louder a minute ago?
Are you sure you don't just have a bad cable?
Maybe. I'll have to go through and find out which one.
Well, let's try to get through a tune and see if you notice any volume fluctuations. They're burning all kinds of time.
Alright, I'd like to start out with Till You Come Home.
Alright. F sharp?
Yeah.
I don't just love you because you're a nice guy and because you're a great drummer, but also
It's the source for useless information.
we're going to be conservative, bitch. Alright. What was it? Epic fail?
Oh, we're not doing Slebutantes again? One more time for the Gipper?
We got a couple weeks. I think it's really close except for just that one thing.
Fair enough. I thought that's what you were referring to.
No,
one
no,
more time.
No, we were doing epic fail one more time for the Gipper. I feel good about that. I had a wrong chord in one place, but otherwise that was pretty good.
I think I dropped the beat twice, but I felt okay otherwise.
It happens. What do you think, Emmett?
Not bad.
So I record this, and then later on I edit it for the podcast. I take out all the uhs and ums, which I am guilty of on the regular.
You are doing the Lord's work. Thank you for that.
Yes, I'm glad.
Wait,
to
that's a
appreciate
good hashtag. We should use that for promoting this episode.
the Lord's work.
Doing the Lord's work.
I'm terrible at slogans. I worked at a record store once, and I was like, "You can put it in your dick," and they said no. And so I'm glad I came up with a good one.
Let's flash back in your lifetime. We want to know the origin of Marc with a C. How did you get started with music, with writing and playing, and
Okay.
yeah?
Well, I was in a string of pretty horrible teenage bands that all took stabs at democracy, but 9 times out of 10 I was the one bringing in the music, and like most teenage bands, we didn't amount to much of anything and broke up amidst much acrimony that looks silly when you think back on it. But one night I was actually working for a local group who was just on the verge of breaking. They had been signed to a pretty sizable record label, and their name was Precious. I sold their merch and did all the roadie work for them. And one night, Precious was either late going on stage or a band had canceled, and there was a totally full club here in Orlando, and they just wanted anyone to get on stage. And I'd been making up some really silly songs, like the kinds of things that you sing to yourself while you do the dishes. Like, I wasn't taking them seriously at all. And the lady who was putting the show together was like, literally, can anyone play the guitar right now? Can anyone just get up there and entertain them? And I said, yeah, I can do it. And she was like, great, what's your name? And I said, Mark. And she quickly wrote down Mark, M-A-R-K, and I responded back, I don't know why, because she was only going to say my name, so I don't know why it was important to me. But I cleared it up for her and said, no, with a C. And she goes, okay, and she scratches it out. She walks to the stage, and just this quickly, as I'm strapping on the gear of Steve Guerin from Precious, about to perform this impromptu concert for a bunch of people who did not come to see me, she says, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mark. And then she takes a pause for the most epic eye roll in the history of eye rolls and follows it up with a C. And
that is remarkable. That's great.
After that show, my phone kept ringing and I kept getting booked. So if it weren't for that show, I might not be here talking with you. And that was around 98 or 99. And that was it. That was the beginning of Mark with a C. And I started making records and I never quit.
That's awesome. That's gotta be like one of the best origin stories.
Yes, concur.
That we've heard personally.
With The Who on TV doing what was supposed to be their final show in 1982. I was around 5 and my parents were watching a videotape of the show, and those songs tore my head off. And when I saw Pete Townsend on stage and heard the songs, these utterly ridiculous things, like when you think about it, Pinball Wizard should not work. It's a truly bizarre song, and I knew right then that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And from there, I think the people that at least influenced me to do Mark with a C, where I can truly say if this person didn't exist, there would be no Mark with a C. Duran Duran, because besides just being fun songs and dancey songs, they had the best harmonies. The Monkees, the records of the Monkees influenced me more deeply than most friendships I've had. A gentleman from the West Coast named Steve Poltz, who was in the band The Rugburns, and later he went on to write some songs for his girlfriend Jewel, and now he's just sort of a traveling troubadour. He, without Steve Poltz, there would be no Mark with a C. And Jonathan Richman. The moment I heard Jonathan Richman was the moment I went, no, there is a market for what I'm doing. I shouldn't give up. And those were, I think, the biggies for me. Now, there are other acts that I might like more, but those were the ones who said, Mark, you can do this. You know, that's what I heard in their music.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, There's Something About Mary is a great movie, but it also introduced me to the great Jonathan Richman. So, yeah, definitely, I have much respect for that guy as well.
That's a lot of people's story, actually, that they never heard of him until There's Something About Mary, and he was sort of, I guess, portrayed in a comical way in the movie, which is fine. I think that if music makes you laugh or cry, it doesn't matter. It's eliciting a human response, an emotional response. Great, you know. If it turns people on to his first band, the Modern Lovers, or makes them pick up one of his later folky records, wonderful. That's how a road gets made. Bad for not having played that for like 8 months. It's pretty good. Ultimately, what does it make the bass do?
It changes the sound of a bass player in Europe somewhere at that moment.
Yeah, we've all got that light switch in our house where we're like, what does this do? And it's flushing a toilet in Australia.
Wrong way.
Of the ice. Alright.
Ready?
I am. You ready?
Sure.
Alright. Garbage on my part. Let's try one more.
1, 2, 3.
Don't you think?
he may actually throw another idea out there while we're doing this.
Yeah.
Thing, so.
I was gonna also for the chorus. I thought like because you have a part underneath and then the melody, and I'm actually like naturally wanting to do like a third above that, so that's like in 3 parts. I just didn't know if that would be.
I messed around with the harmony too, but I'm not super comfortable with it. But if you need that to throw in the mix, I at least messed with it for the third verse because I didn't want to confuse myself with the first 2 verses.
Yeah, I would say if you got the idea, let's do a take of it.
Yeah.
I think I have a clue. I would just be doubling you, but I really need the guide because I'm so it's so new to me.
Yeah. Let me like burn through one for practice, and then I'll try to do it on my own.
You're gonna burn it?
I'm gonna burn it in your bedroom.
Let's burn one out.
Sorry about
Damn it, Mark!
Well, you started it too flippin' early.
It's me. It's on me.
Blame the producer.
Count in. 1, 2, 3.
I thought I could hear myself, but I lost me in the noise.
Why think of tomorrow when today is all that exists? The prophet is leaving town with all his who's who lists. Must be the way out. He cut off before I could say it.
Listen, let's do another one too, where you just speak the whole thing. And I like how we got you on the cadence with the low voice, but I want this one to really be purposely not so much on it.
Okay, higher voice or lower voice?
I think the higher one.
Higher speaking voice. And this is
especially-
the one that's going to end with "This must be the way out."
Right, this must be the way out.
Okay, make sure he knows not to cut off for a bit. Thank you. The prophet is leaving town with all of his who's who lists. This must be the way out. Is that what you wanted, Jim?
Yes.
Alright.
Got it.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Cool.
Thank you.
Humidity is really important. It keeps the vocal cords loose.
Nobody understands that more than me, and I won't give you a sob story about it, but as you age, you will find that your voice does not work the way that it once did, and you will have to take precaution upon precaution everywhere you go. And I'm actually, this is no joke, I'm actually in the market for scarves to keep my throat warm at all times. It's become a real problem over this winter, playing some shows to sort of promote the idea that there is an album coming out. I've had to come up with interesting ways to keep my throat warm in drafty spaces while rehearsing and doing interviews.
Failure is important because it's through failure that you get better. What if I may ask were some memorable times that you've quote unquote failed in public?
I think there's the very famous one where my body refused to work properly at Nerdapalooza, and I was in the middle of the song Stairway to Rudolph, and a mixture of bad staging and a weird position for me to be standing in, and a bunch of cables that were just haphazardly under my feet, and my kneecap popped out of socket while I was on stage. And this was after just a couple of people had just shown up from some Harry Potter convention going, well, we just paid $30 just to come see you. Well, this is the middle of the second song. I have to continue playing. Well, there were no monitors. I couldn't get my guitar back in tune. I had to keep playing for those people, though I desperately needed to go to the emergency room because I'm not going to say, screw you and your $30. So, I succeeded by getting on with it. I failed because the show was awful.
See, I thought you were going to say that, but because this comes up because you beat yourself up over this quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I always look to that story as Mark with a C will do anything for his fans. He will even put himself in great physical danger just to do a show that he believes needs to get done. I don't see it as a failing at all.
Certain journalists who didn't cover me otherwise had ran with the story and started posting it and enjoying my public failure. A lot of people think, well, why should I support X musician because they should be doing this for fun. This should just be a hobby, and you should hang on to your dreams and only work on them nights and weekends. And or, well, why should I support them? They just came from backstage. And really, even in people that are packing arenas, they don't realize that their backstage is often like the sweaty sports dressing room. There's very little glamorous until a spotlight hits you and people look at you and decide that there's a bit of glamour to what you do. And it's actually one of the stinkiest professions you can be in, and that's why you tend to walk away remembering the one person that didn't like it. Because you're like, man, if you only knew what I had to do to try to get here just for quote-unquote exposure, just so you'll hear the song, and then you're going to go, nah, I'm really into music, but I don't like the way you've arranged the same 12 notes we're all using. That's tough. So Unicorns Get More Bacon was just the idea of the relationship between artist and audience, and that sometimes the audience is far more comfortable than the performer.
Make You Better, which is considerably less clear, unless the song is definitively about a rabbit with syphilis.
It is.
It is.
It is about 2 rabbits with syphilis, as a matter of fact.
I don't. It was that statistic about like tweeting X number of selfies a day. I mean, that's something that people do. Is there like a rule book? Did you look at the averages that these kind of people who are just social individuals, like, is there a format here? Is there a formula?
No, on that part of the song, I had to decide to put more lyrics or a solo. I'm not pretending that it's not self-serving as well. I like putting out records, but ultimately I think this band should be immortalized, and if we do it, I don't think that you guys should just get paid that night. I think that if that work lives on, I want you guys to make the money as it lives on.
Something like that, right?
What key are you playing it in?
I don't know, E.
It's in B. And then, yeah. B.
Yeah. And then it changes, like...
You're not in tune with me. I think you're a half step down.
Oh, true.
Oh, that would explain it, huh?
Sure can't fill up on sweet. No, I did it. Your mother is wrong. Just look at. I fucked it up with my victory beat.
Frankenstein's bastard daughter.
And it's said 3 times?
I think it's 3, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you want to play it real quick? It's right there if you do.
No, it's...
Alright.
If it's not 3, we'll start again.
3 times.
And then it's Doctor, Not the Monster. And then... so we're perfectly clear. You can either start the 4 count on clear or wait a couple seconds, so it seems like we're about to come back in with it, but you're actually leading into Dick Puncher and everybody's pleasantly surprised.
Right.
It's the Dick and Nick.
Any word on your fence this year?
I know nothing. I can tell you guys that I have a handshake agreement with Chozo that I'm to perform twice. I will do one at the day before where I play a lot of dirty stuff with swear words, and then there will be a second show at the main event that the band is welcome to play, where we will do cleaner material, so that we don't even have to get into the problems that we had last year.
Is it Sign Center again?
Yes, it was, as far as I know. And that was why the agreement was reached. So.
I just want the get back that you once gave to me. 'Cause you're running like a love inside, but I will keep it in formaldehyde.
thing that struck me as really cool that you said when you were on Anything and Everything several weeks ago is you were talking about some artists that create your album covers, and you were saying that you don't really give them any direction. You just let creative people be creative.
Absolutely.
Right. I like the way you think, Mark. Can I call you Mark, or should I call you Mr. with a C?
You can call me Mark. That's
Okay.
fine. Just pronounce it with a C.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for joining me here today. On,
Can I call you James or Mr. Gray?
People typically call me James Gray. I don't know how that caught on. Probably because I refer to myself that way, but I don't know why people continue to do it. So James or James Gray or Mr. Gray, whatever you're most comfortable with.
Mr. Gray would make me think a little too much like the film Secretary, and I'd be expecting you to put a harness on me and a carrot in my mouth. So I'm going to go with James.
James is fine. James is
I'm
fine.
going to go with James the DJ.
This stuff is cool. I should have been listening to this all this time, and better late than never, I suppose. But I'm sorry I hadn't checked it out until recently.
I've been taking it very personally, so I appreciate your apology.
Well, tell me how, because you have a lot of albums out. You've put out a lot of stuff, right?
It's true.
Okay. How is this one? Is this one? Would you consider it a progression? Is it always a progression when you put something out?
Some would disagree that it's always a progression because it seems that the better produced the albums become is in direct portion to how many penis jokes are on the record.
Right.
So it's a progression and a regression at the same time.
Sing my songs are like my kids. I have a whole bunch of them. And some are kind of cool, others are just meh. Used to laugh and cheer when people would sing up here. Now sometimes you gotta do this while you look at yourself, though. You don't have to be a still a dirty din. Then you got yourself a bird. Oh.
And this bird will never change. I'm not everybody's favorite ball of sunshine, especially this early in the morning. So, I have to say that you are more pleasant than I'd heard. I mean, I know the whole story with the stewardess and the fair, but we don't talk about that.
No. That's still that's like a court thing.
And I have to say that I can't picture you in those situations, and you've been fantastic. And the massage was really more than I could have asked for, especially because I asked you to stop over and over because you're sick and I don't want to catch it.
Yeah, but I knew that you weren't done. And when I say done,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, now I'm done, and I said, no, really, can we clear this with my wife? And you went into this Freddy Krueger voice. I'm your wife now, and it was great.
To 102.7 FM CILU or around the world at luradio.ca. That was, of course, Mark with a C with the Ballad of Dick Steele. And I'm Andrew with an A.
I'm Rob with the Dick Steele.
And I'm Megan with an A. And of course, we are your Thunder Geeks. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in with us. We have a very special guest joining us. Of course, Mark with the C. He is an absolute musical machine. He's been putting out music for over 10 years. Mark, are you there with us?
I am right here. Can you hear me? Hello.
Let's see. I know what's happening.
Same thing as last time.
Same thing as last time.
I'll keep talking. Hello.
Mark, say hi to us.
I'm saying hello. Can you hear it?
I can hear you now.
All right.
There we go. Mark, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me, Thunder Geeks.
Controversial question. Who has the better ass? Peter Parker or Dick Grayson? Spider-Man or Nightwing?
I've never thought about it. Plus, I've never seen a live actualized Nightwing, so that's really tough. But animated, or illustrated, it's got to be Peter Parker.
Oh!
Yes!
Because Dick's so fucking young. Oh, pardon my French.
Dumped and clear.
Thank you.
But yeah, so it's fighting win for me.